Welcome to the EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. As always, thanks for watching another terrific edition of the EQ Video Tip. Before we jump in, let's review the goals of EQ Video Tip. What's on tap for today? We have a great article from Bill Murphy about winning arguments. And let's face it, we have arguments all the time with other people, whether it's our family, our friends, our coworkers. And the question is, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to solve for? Are we trying to really win the argument? And what's the cost that it's going to come to us by trying to win or convince someone? So we're going to think about why we're arguing first, but then we're going to figure out the bottom line, which is, when we're arguing, how do we inoculate ourselves from the drama and actually win the argument? Because you're never actually going to win the argument, but we have to think about what winning really means and how we can convince people that what we're thinking is actually a good choice for them or for you or a decision for everyone as a whole. So let's jump in and talk about winning arguments. Tip number one, track your emotions. And while you're at it, track the emotions of others. Are you calm and having a good time, or do you feel your blood pressure rising all of a sudden? And are you spoiling for a fight, or are you just trying to relax and watch what's coming out of someone else's mouth? Whatever it is, watch your emotions and track yours as well as someone else's. The more cool, calm, and collective you can be, the more likely it is someone is actually going to talk and listen to you as opposed to fight back against you. So take a moment, track your emotions if you want to win the argument. Tip number two, pay attention to your surroundings or the surroundings in the room you're in. Maybe you're at a dinner table with family and all of a sudden people have to listen to your argument, but they really don't want to do that. They're being forced to. They look like they feel awkward, or are they getting more heated than you? Are you worried this is going to turn into that kind of dinner that everyone will talk about for years to come in hushed tones, like, oh, I can't remember how bad that was, or I don't want to remember that? If so, figure out an off-ramp, which is going to lead us to tip number three. But remember, pay attention to your surroundings. Tip number three, and this is one of my favorites, give the other side a way out. When you get into a heated debate, if that person's emotions are running wild, it's going to be very hard for them to calm down and agree with your approach. So use this magic phrase, well, you've given me something to think about. It gives them a way out. It gives them a way for you to basically say, hey, I'm thinking about what you're saying. I'm not necessarily agreeing, but I'm going to go think about it. I'm going to step away for a minute. In doing so, you've taken the pressure that's surrounding you right now and reduced it very quickly. So when this happens, take a moment and give the other side a small victory. Put the fire out before it engulfs everybody and say, well, you've given me something to think about, and give the other side a way out. Our next tip, mirror instead of reacting. It's a very quick thing, but if someone's pointing or moving their arms like this, you might want to mirror that as well. If they're like this, stand like that as well. But try to subtly mirror the language. It might make them feel a little more connected to you, and it might diffuse some of the drama that's going on as well. Remember, we tend to like people that imitate us, so as long as they don't know you're doing it, it's okay. Don't try to make fun of them if they're jabbing at you, and obviously don't point back because that will instigate more of a fight. But take a minute to actually try to mirror instead of react to what someone might be saying. Our last tip, remember what really winning might be for you or for someone else. Winning isn't getting someone in that moment to agree exactly to what you're saying. When, in fact, what it is planting a little seed within their mind to say, at some point they may be open to thinking of looking at ways differently down the road, or perhaps simply having fun with it, or perhaps even coming around to your point of view. But you're not going to win an argument, especially one that gets heated all the time, right in that moment. So typically it takes a moment for them to calm down, to think about it, and you want to plant that seed. Remember, that's what winning really is. That's a wrap for this week's EQ video tip. Hopefully this tip will help you in winning your arguments. But remember, winning is very different than what we perceive to win a game or win a contest or win anything in life. So take a moment to understand what winning really is when you're going to win an argument. So that concludes our EQ video tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ Video Tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.